I gravitate to people at a low level of stratosphere, meaning they get the risk, they understand their place in it, and they're willing to behave in a way that's concordant with their risk. That requires a certain understanding that there is a tiny chance that you could get sick and die.
Yes.
But you're not so afraid of mortality to outdo your fear of not living your life, this iteration that we're given.
Yes.
And that to me, for me, I can only be with people who are that way because we connect on an almost transpersonal level.
It's not that you just become stratified by your fear level of COVID. It is actually a fundamental way to live, right?
A way of seeing
Which
the
is
world.
that actually you have a chance of dying at all times, and ultimately that chance will become 100%. But we live as if we are never going to die,
Right?
And yet, what kind of life do you have where you don't see anyone, where you don't hug your children, where you have so much fear that you're not actually living, right? And there are people who are truly not actually living right now. And then the question is, what's their quality of life if you have that much fear? Because it's miserable to feel that anxious. And I'm so sorry that they feel that anxious, because I think there's things to be done with this non-radioactive respiratory virus that we can do to keep ourselves safe. And I feel really sad for people who are that anxious. I have a friend whose husband is very anxious, and it makes me sad that he feels so sad. And it has led to tension between the friend and me, and we have come to a resolution now. I have other friends that their level of fear has made it difficult for me to interact with them, and now we won't interact for the time being. But I think it's a place where you have enough spiritual, in a way, and I'm going to use the word spiritual because I think
I use it too.
You have enough feeling that you understand you're going to die, fundamentally, actually. And you have come to some level of understanding about that you're able to move around and interact in the world.
Yeah.
And if you've come, and it is spiritual to come to the fundamental understanding that you're going to die. And if you've never come to that understanding that you're going to die, your fear will rule everything.
Always. Absolutely. And in fact, right before we did this show, I told you I did a live show about meditation, because every day I try to meditate, and I had an experience this morning. I'm like, I'm going to do a show about it. And I meant to only go live to my subscribers, the people who pay $4.99 a month, which, by the way, you should do, because it's a small group and it's a wonderful group where we have a give and take, right? But then I realized I was live to the whole page, so I couldn't take comments, but instead just was telling people we live in this now moment that is so colored by anxiety, fear of mortality, fear of other, fear of everything. And that's all a coloration of what we actually are, which is beyond death and life. And it has nothing to do with religion. This is purely an experience you can have through meditation.
Yeah, yes.
And once you have that experience, your fear of death, and in fact, in many ways, when you really have an experience like that, and you can have it through prayer, you can have it through meditation, you can have it looking at the stars as an atheist, the ego dies transiently. You experience death, and what you're left with is this still ever-present awareness, and you go, hey, that's not so bad.
It's not that